That was cooking.
All right. Okay. All right, we're live.
What's up, everybody? Jerree Cardenas here with guests, entrepreneur, crypto millionaire Ross Garcia, and he is streaming on multiple channels as we speak. Ross, go ahead and make your introduction.
Well, my name is Ross Garcia. I've been in crypto since 2017, 2018. Getting cut off here. We're on 4 different live channels. And basically, I'm here to basically inspire you guys to get off your ass, right? Get off your freaking ass and make some money and travel the world like I did. So what I did was I used personal growth and development, right? Personal growth and development and thinking positive and crypto, right? Our school, which in the beginning, Jerree was actually there in the beginning. It was a club. We called it Crypto Lifestyle Club. And we were in Chicago. I'm actually streaming live from Chicago in 2017 or 18?
17.
17.
17.
It was the winter of 2017.
17, yeah.
And we were...
It just started out.
We had just started the channel. We had just started our YouTube channel. And now that we're live, everyone's messaging us. Our phones are going crazy. So like, I'm seeing everyone messaging me on WhatsApp. Anyway, it's been a crazy ride. Like, some of the shit that we went through when we started the club, we could literally write a book about what happened.
Yeah. And this is all before the freaking coronavirus hit. I mean, we were doing really good, really well. And I mean, we had viewers lined up. They wanted to come in on the shows. So it was a very, very, very successful show. And now we got a huge story to share with you on his part. He's been wandering the world, UK, Paris, London, Spain, where he just currently purchased a house and renovating it right now, and very successful. And he's gonna share that story with you. I mean, I know his whole story, and we're actually go college buddies and stuff. So he's got a lot more stories to tell you than I do.
So what happened was that I basically wanted to I wanted to find the next Bitcoin, okay? And I'll tell you guys what coin I invested in, okay? So I wanted to find the next Bitcoin, and I was basically, we started the channel, and then I took off to California. I wasn't happy in Chicago. I got tired of the cold, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go live in California. So I went to go live in California. I lived in Hollywood, California, and I was studying personal growth and development with Bob Proctor. I was already a student of Bob Proctor's. And I remember him saying, like, you have to make a big number look small, right? You have to, if you never done it, it's okay. You can't try to figure out how you're going to get there. You just need to know that it's already done. And I always talk about quantum physics. Bob Proctor never really talked about it, but he did talk about Price Pritchett. Price Pritchett wrote a book called U Squared, U2. He's from Dallas, Texas.
I know that.
And in that book, he talks about doing quantum leaps. And I remember like being in California, and I had a business, and I had a company called the Loan Modification Clinic. And I was like, you know what? I'm down to like my last $30,000.
Mm-hmm. And
I was like, you know, what can I invest into? What can I do to attract $50 million? Now, at the time, 50 million to me, because I've never made it, I was like, well, you know, this is possible. But what happens is if you work at McDonald's and you're flipping cheeseburgers, you logically, right? Logically, you're not going to go there. You're not going to say, oh, you know,
you got to work so many hours. You got to work those 9 to 5 jobs. It's going to take you decades to get to that point.
Yeah. So I want to get your Facebook viewers. I'm over here on the side anyway. So for people that don't know me through Jerry's Facebook channel. So that's what happened, right? Logically, I stopped using my logical thinking, and I was like, you know what? I don't care how this is going to happen, but I'm going to be successful in crypto. I'm going to make it in cryptocurrency.
Right.
And I was down to like the last $30,000 I had. Um, I wrote down in a folder, I said, by 2021, by the year 2021, I'm going to make $50 million in cryptocurrency. And I actually put electric cryptocurrency. I actually put the coin. I was like, I'm going to make it in electric cryptocurrency. And what happened was I didn't make it in electric cryptocurrency. I made it through Hex, through the cryptocurrency called Hex. Which Hex, if you don't know what the cryptocurrency Hex is basically a certificate of deposit on the blockchain. So think of you going to a bank and let's say you have $100,000 and you want to put that money in the bank. You can put the money in the bank and they're going to give you interest on your money, right? The same thing with Hex. When you put your Hex tokens, when you put them away, like when you stake them, it's called staking.
Right.
If you know about Ethereum, you know what staking is, because Ethereum is doing proof of work. They're moving to proof of stake instead of proof of work. So anyways, I staked my Hex. I did everything that I was supposed to do the first month of its launch, which right now we've done over a 10,000% return on our money.
Oh wow!
So basically, if you would have put $100 in Hex in 2020, January 5th of 2020, which January 5th was the lowest point of Hex. So if you would have put $100 in Hex, you would have made $100,000 for every $100. So
Wow.
every $100 you would have made $100,000 for every $100. So right now I had a phone call from my friend Jesse Delgado. He called me and he said, "Hey Ross, how long are you gonna be in Chicago?" I said, I might leave Monday from Chicago, and I'm gonna be in Europe, right? I might go to London, I don't know. But he's like, "Look, the real estate market is going down by 5%.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
this year is still a good year to sell. So we're down 5%.
Market's not that bad as people think. People are scared and nervous. Some people are just holding their real estate because, of course, the longer you hold, the more it's going to appreciate. But you gotta beware. You gotta read the market. You gotta learn the market. You gotta see what's going on, and basically, just improve your gains by doing your research.
So going back to this whole Hex thing and cryptocurrency is like, what happened? What happened was I was in an apartment, little apartment. I was, like I said, I was down to 30,000, and I started reading this book called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. And what Wallace Wattles talks about in that book is that there's a secret. And what is the secret? Because everybody wants to get rich. Everybody wants to work from home, right? Everybody wants to travel. Everybody wants to buy the best clothes, live in the nicest house.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone wants to be rich. Everybody wants, to grow. So don't think of it like, oh, I want to get rich. No, you want to grow. You want to grow. And there's a law that says if you're not creating, you're disintegrating. If you're not growing, you're dying, right? Mm-hmm. So I know the laws. I know them like the back of my hand. Why do I say that? Because I started studying personal growth and development since 2010. What happened in 2010 that made me want to grow, which is make more money, right?
And it's a big thing and a big story that you have that year, because I know what happened. We were going to school together.
You know what happened.
I know,
but the people that are listening in, they don't know what the frick happened, right?
So let's do his story.
So this is what happened. I was driving drunk, right? I was in Chicago, in downtown Chicago, with a friend that basically let me go home wasted. And they're like, "Hey, you ordered a bunch of bottles." And I said, "No, I didn't order the bottles." "Well, you're going to have to pay for them." And then I got pissed off because I ended up spending a couple thousand at the club in downtown, and we were with some girls, and they left, and then I went home, and I was driving. I had a Jaguar S Type, and I totaled my car. I loved that car. I used to like wax it, and I took care of that car, right? And I crashed the car. I ended up in jail, and I ended up putting someone in a coma, right?
Yeah.
So now I have to look at this guy and his family, and basically they're like, you're a piece of shit. You almost killed our son, right? And I was like, damn, like what happened to me? Because I always thought that going to school and getting a good job was gonna make you happy. And I always thought that getting a job,
getting an education, getting that degree,
was gonna make you happy. But what I found out that no one can make you happy. No one can tell you, well, you just became a manager at a bank, right? No one's gonna make you happy. What happens in life is this: we're born, and when we're born, we do what we see. So we are programmed genetically and environmentally by what we see, smell, taste, hear, and touch, right? But my mentor Bob Proctor would say, I have a dog that can see, smell, taste, hear, and touch. You're not like a dog. You were born in God's image. You have these higher faculties. You have an ability to imagine, right? You have an imagination. You have a will. You have reasoning, intuition, memory, and perception. When you use these God-given abilities, you are not like a dog. You basically can create the life that you want.
Right.
And in 2010, the judge was like, look, you're going to go to jail, right? And I was like, well, what can I do to fix my life? So they sent me to boot camp, a military program where I basically was like doing push-ups all night, all day and all night, right? And then finally I got out of there 4 months later, and I was in my mom's house. And I was listening to YouTube, and I saw this old man, Napoleon Hill. And Napoleon Hill was like dead already. He was already dead. But he's like, may you be seated, please. There's a secret in these principles. And when you figure it out, you can literally have anything you want. And you can have it in abundance. So when I heard him say in abundance, I was like, damn, like, I want that. Like, shit, I want to be rich.
I want to know more.
I want to know more. Because at that time, I already saw Bob Proctor in the movie The Secret, The Law of Attraction. Like, I already saw him, right? And I never would think that I would shake his hand, let alone be in his house and talk to him, right? And he's been studying this stuff since the 80s, since the 70s, right? He passed away this year. So, like I said, whatever you want, and when I would hear him say, Bob Proctor would say, tell me what you want and I'll help you get it. I was like, yeah, right.
I would have thought the same thing.
But it's true. It's like, what do you want? And how out of the day, right? There's 24 hours a day, 8 hours of work, 8 hours of free time, and eight hours of sleep, right? So if 8 hours of work and 8 hours of free time, I said, well, I got 16 hours. And at that time in 2010, 2011, I was in boot camp. I got out. So let's just say in 2010, June, I already started studying Napoleon Hill. And I already knew who Bob Proctor was. I already knew the movie The Secret. And all I did was, if I needed to change my program of what I've been taught about money, what I've been taught about working, if I needed to change my paradigm, my program, a program is a paradigm. If I wanted to change that, I needed to learn more about how to attract things, and I needed to study. So I would work for like $300 a week, and I would listen to Napoleon Hill on YouTube. I was opening boxes. We were bringing in wine from Italy. We were importing wine from Italy. I was opening boxes, and I was listening to Napoleon Hill. I would come home. I would listen to Napoleon Hill. I did not know that I was actually studying the laws of success, which was his first book, was The Laws of Success. The second book, which would made him famous was Think and Grow Rich, which was everybody was like, damn, this like he became very very famous at that time. And I started studying it, and then I figured out what the master key was, right? So what is the master key? What is it
I
that?
was just about to ask you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what is it that you guys want to know, right? There's a secret, and if you think about it like this, it's like the air. You can't talk to the air.
Can't see it.
You can't see it, right? But we use the air. We use internet. We use our cell phone. We talk to one another through applications like Facebook and WhatsApp and Instagram. But if you would have told someone 100 years ago, make a phone call wirelessly, they would have thought you were crazy.
Yeah.
If you would have told someone 300 years ago that there's going to be planes in the sky and I was going to be in Texas and a couple hours later I was going to be in Chicago, right? A couple hours later I was going to be in London or whatever. You're literally, the world is getting smaller. The world is not getting bigger, it's getting smaller. So most of these things all these things were already here. Not most of these things. All these things were already here, but we weren't able to tap into them. So everything you want is already here. This is what my mentor Bob Proctor would say. But there's frequencies, right?
And how many frequencies are there?
There's an unlimited amount of frequencies. Frequencies are like vibration, right? Everything vibrates. Nothing rests. You are moving right now. So everything is moving. You are vibrating. Vibration is better known as a feeling, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you feel? So in other words, man, I'm losing my, don't you ever hear people say this? I'm losing my company. I'm pissed off. I'm not making any money. It's not going to work. Did you hear that the gas prices are going up, right? They tell you everything they don't want. So when people talk to me about their problems, I always, like, even with you, like, say the opposite. Like, well, what was the opposite of what you just said? So you say the opposite. Because there's 7 laws. The first law is the perpetual transmutation of energy. Energy just is. It's neither created nor destroyed. It's the cause and effect of itself. It's 100% evenly present in all places at all times. Then you got
in us, around us.
It's all around you.
All the electronics, everything they have, everything that we're living in or have and see or feel, everything's energy.
There was a Russian photographer. His name was Semyon Kurly. He was a Russian photographer. He perfected a form of photography named Kurlian photography, where you would take a picture of someone. You could take a picture of someone, and you could actually see the energy leaving someone's body. This energy is an intelligence. You can mold and make the energy. That's why Bob Proctor wrote a book called Thoughts Are Things. So thoughts become things.
Right.
So psychology is like, what are you thinking about? And what do you think about yourself? How do you see yourself? Because how you see yourself is going to determine your results. Listen to what I just said. How you see yourself will determine your results. The most money I've ever made was $120 million. Now, if you tell somebody, well, I'm 39 right now, but I started studying this information in 2010, 2011. So it took me, let's say, 12 years, right? Was it worth it? Yeah, it was worth it. Yes, it's worth it. Why is it worth it? Because I had to study this stuff every day. I had to listen to Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor, because I wanted to, not because I was forced to, because I wanted a better life. I wanted to grow. And growing is more money because it's energy. So when you're able to help someone because of your position of power, when you're able to say, hey, look, I'm going to help you, right? It feels good to help other people. Now, you can't do that being broke or thinking poverty conscience. You can't think, oh, let me get this job real quick and I'm pissed off because I don't even want the job and I have to make money to pay my house. That's not going to get you to the next level. What's going to get you to the next level is taking risks. Like I did when I bought Hex, when I was writing on a freaking folder that I was going to make 50 million.
How much was Hex at the time?
Hex was 0.0002. And
Wow.
Ethereum was $90. Right now, Ethereum's at about. I got the
34?
alerts on my phone. So Ethereum is at 1700. I think it's at like 1600 right now. It took a drop.
A big
Uh,
drop.
it's at $1,616.
Wow.
But at that time, I remember watching Valuetainment, the guy Valuetainment, Patrick David on YouTube, and I remember him talking shit about Bitcoin and saying how it's going to crash. It did crash from 20,000 to 3,900, but then it went to 40,000, and then it went to 67,000 at the top. So
So it's still a good Bitcoin, to invest in.
It's still a logical approach to get rich. Basically, that's what I'm saying, because we're kind of jumping off the whole personal growth and the development thing here. So what I'm trying to get to you guys is that this is everyday work. This is not about, well, I'm gonna get rich, or I'm gonna hit the lottery, or I'm gonna do this. This is about every day studying the laws of success. Every day reading books like, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, or You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. It's not going to be, you're not going to get rich overnight, guys. I mean, if you do, then good, great, right?
When you
But
got it like that,
look,
that's intelligent.
Napoleon Hill said like this: every time people that never had money come across a large sum of money, they always go broke. Why do you think people that get rich in the lottery, like 5 years later, they don't have shit? Why? Because it's an inside job. That's why Bob Proctor would always say you can't paint the kitchen by painting the outside of the house. You got to start with you. You got to start with the kitchen. How do you do it then? That's what you guys want to know. You need a pen. You need to know why you want it. You need to know when you want it by. You need to sign it. You need to know the what, when, why, where, but you don't need to know how. You don't need to know how. Think about what I just said.
And think about what he just in the beginning of this video. Write everything down that you want. At the pen, at the paper. Write it down. Date. And a date.
Now, to talk about the laws, right? You got the perpetual transmutation of energy. Energy just is. You have vibration, which attraction comes from vibration. Attraction it's not the primary law. It's a secondary law. So you have like 1, 2, right? Vibration.
Okay.
And attraction derives from vibration. So everything you attract is on a frequency, and you cannot attract things that you're not on the same frequency on, okay? And then you have the law of polarity. The law of polarity states that there's equal and opposite polarity, energy, positive, negative, right? Mm-hmm. Up, down, left, right. So you got a polarity. You are thinking something. Now, when you think, it has no polarity. Energy just is. It doesn't know positive or negative polarities. So when you think, you have to think. And when you think logically because of the past.
And positively. You got to think positive. Explain the difference when you're thinking your frequencies and you're thinking negative and you're thinking positive, and the effects of it too.
When you think logically because of the past, and logically you perform the results because of the past. That's where the paradigm is. So,
and that's how people are stuck, because they're still thinking in the past.
You've never done it. You don't know how it would feel. When you tell me, hey, how does it feel to, wake up when you want it? You don't know how it feels. You have an idea. That's where you use the fantasy. The fantasy is, oh, I want to know how it feels to be wealthy. Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, what do wealthy people do? What do they do? Oh, well, wealthy people, where do they hang out, right? But just being around wealthy people is not going to be enough. You have to change your perception. That's a higher faculty. So let me just go into the faculties. You got transmutation of energy, vibration, polarity. You got cause and effect. You got the law of relativity. And on the bottom, you got the law of gender. Now,
what is that? I heard that a lot. What is that? Can you just
All right.
explain that a little bit
So
more?
the law of gender states that there's an incubation and ingestation period for every seed. We know what it is for a woman having a child is 9 months, but we don't know what a spiritual seed is. A spiritual seed is something that you really, really want. Something that you really, really want. We don't know how long it's going to take for what you really, really want to manifest. We have an idea. When a woman has a child, it's give or take 9 months. We know what it is for strawberries, corn, potatoes, watermelon, but we don't know what a spiritual seed is. A spiritual seed, in my case, it took me 2 years, and it happened close to the date. I put that I was going to make 50 million by January 1st, 2021. I was at a Starbucks in Austria when I was looking at my account, and I attracted 120 million. So it actually was double than what I received. So what happens is when you write down what you want, when you put a date on it, you're putting the laws in motion. Who invented gravity? Do you know who it was? Isaac Newton. You know Isaac Newton, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They showed us in school.
Right.
When the apple fell from the tree, it fell at the same rate that maybe a bowling ball or something like that. Okay? So in other words, gravity is what pulls in what you want. When you write down what you want, there's already like, you know, the sand, when you go like this, the sand's coming down.
Yeah, the
on
hourglass.
the hourglass.
Sand,
The hourglass, right? So when you write down what you want, why you want it, when you want it by, you sign it, you commit it to memory, you repeat it every day, you auto-suggest it. When you write it down, you're automatically using what Isaac Newton discovered in 1760, right? You're automatically using the attraction as your tool, right? And that's why I tell people, like, you studied the law of attraction, you read the books, but you don't know how to build a house, right? Because when you build a house, you have an electrician, you have a plumber, you have a carpenter, you have a cement guy, you have all kinds of people building the house. So you have to be an expert at using the higher faculties. So the higher faculties are, you have your imagination, you have a will, you have reasoning, intuition. Intuition is like, how do you feel about certain situations, right?
Okay.
Memory and perception. When you change your perception about situations or circumstances, the way that you see it changes. Okay, William James, he was a psychologist, pretty much known as the father of psychology in the early 1900s. He says your belief system is based upon your evaluation of something. Frequently, if you reevaluate your situation about that situation, the situation will change, the outcome. So how do you see the outcome? And if you see the outcome as it's not going to help me, change your perception about the outcome, and the outcome will change.
Right.
I didn't know what perception was. I was studying with Bob Proctor was on stage. I was in Toronto at our because I'm a coach. I work with his company as a Bob Proctor Proctor Gallagher consultant, and I'm sitting there taking notes. And he's like, "Change your perception. Everything will change." I'm like, "Well, how does perception work?" Well, perception is like a polarity, negative and positive polarities, right? You change your perception about the polarity because the energy doesn't know good or bad. The energy just is. It just is. That's what Bob Proctor said. Energy just is. And I'm sitting there, well, energy just is, then why is everything fucked up, right? Why is it all fucked up and at the, excuse my language, but that's what I want you guys to get this, right? So you change your perception about money. You change your perception about your life, the outside result. When you're going broke, you're getting closer to your goal. It might not seem like it, but you have to be willing to burn the ships. You have to be willing to go all in. It's like some chips when you're playing poker, you're all in, right? And I was in Hollywood.
Take risks.
I was all in. I was like, Hex is it. That's it. I put my money in Hex somewhere around $20,000 to $25,000. I'm all in. All in. I have it written down. I know when it's going to occur. I know that by January 1st, 2021, I'm going to make $50 million. Never made 50 million. The most I've ever made in my company was 2 million. Now, I didn't make it all because I had up to 15 people working for me. You know that. The loan modification clinic.
Yeah.
And when I called Jerree and I'm like, hey, look, I have a house in Spain. I have more than one house in Spain. I'm traveling the world. You got to come over here. I mean, were you in shock?
No, I was real shy. I didn't know you ended up in Spain. I was like, what are you doing in Spain? Just bought a house. Need to get out of Chicago. And you know how Chicago actually choking you, you know, and that's how I feel too. So I'm glad I you know we're doing stuff, we're doing together. I'm hanging out with you again and picking your brain and stuff like that, and I've been feeling a lot better, you know.
And the reason that I say that it's like building a house, you have to be an expert in every area, is because for you to if you've never made a million, right? If the most you've ever made is 30,000 a year or 40,000 a year, if that's the most you've ever made, then I would recommend that you write another zero and put it in your palm, put it on a piece of paper and keep seeing it. Why? Because you have to change the paradigm. You have to change your program about the money. And I remember listening to Napoleon Hill's rare audio recordings and his lectures, the first one. He says the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a penny and $1 million. It's amenable to suggestion. It will give you what you repeatedly think about. I was thinking about a birdhouse last week before I got to Chicago. I was in McAllen, Texas. This is how the subconscious mind works. I'm just giving you guys a little bit of an example here. My brother was driving his truck. I was on the passenger side, and I remember the house that I have in Chicago. It has a birdhouse. So I was thinking about the birdhouse, and I'm like, the birdhouse. And I was just thinking about my birdhouse because I ordered it through Amazon, and I wanted to order a birdhouse for my house in Spain, but I couldn't find the same company. It's a really nice birdhouse, and I forgot what the company's called, right? So I literally, within 60 seconds, my brother turned the block, I look up, and I see a birdhouse.
It's funny. Wow.
How does that, why did that happen?
Because you were thinking it.
Because I was thinking it, and it went into the subconscious mind, and it produced the facts.
Wow.
Now,
see how strong your mind is? It's proof that, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people understand it, probably don't realize exactly what he's talking about, but I'm sure you're driving somewhere or you're visiting someplace in another country and you're visualizing something and it brings up a memory and you manifest it basically.
The subconscious mind is like a brick wall. What you want, you can see it, you can feel it in your imagination, you can go there, right? You can even get a dream board and put, pictures. This is actually Rome. This is the Vatican, okay? So I bought this. I had it at my office on 26th in California, a block away from the Cook County Courthouse, okay? I had this and I bought it, and I would always think, I'm going to go to the Vatican. I'm going to go to Italy, right? And I've been here. I've been to the Vatican.
Yeah, I know. I saw your post. You're inside the Vatican. You're like, I think you sent me a picture. And you're telling me that you're gonna get in trouble for taking this picture because you're not allowed to.
Yeah.
But you stuck some pictures out there.
So I took a picture of the Michelangelo ceiling. Okay, I think it's in the 16th chapel or something like that. 16th.
Wow.
So basically, it's all painted from Michelangelo, and I grabbed my phone like this, and I took the picture, and I got the picture of the Michelangelo painting.
You surprised me. I'm like, I know you were in Spain, but then you're in Rome.
No, I'm in Rome.
I'm like, what the hell?
And then I went to Paris, and then from there I went back to Spain. I've always wanted to live in Europe. Never been to Europe. I had dreams about it 10 years ago. I remember seeing the Royal Palace in Madrid, right? And I would take pictures of it. And I would see the statues with, the Roman conquered, like with the spear and everything.
Mm.
And I was just like, I'm gonna end up. I want to go there, right? Never had the money. I would look at my bank account. I had, I want, and so most times I was negative, right? And I had a business, and when I was starting, I was knocking on doors. I was like literally knocking on doors, and you know, little by little, we ended up doing better in the business, helping people.
And started making phone calls. We got leads or call on the phone constantly, 8 hours a day. We're like making phone calls.
And what did it was when I wrote down how much I wanted to make. There's a secret when you write it down, because you're taking a thought and you're making it. You're basically like an artist. So think of yourself as like a Leonardo da Vinci. When you want something, it doesn't matter what you want. You write it down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you put a date on it. And then I had did that with the loan modification clinic, my company. I put that I wanted to make 1.75 million by January 1st, 2017. At the time, it was like 2015. So I had 2 years to do it. It was like 2014, 2015. So I had like 2 years, maybe 3 years to do it. 2 million, right? 1.75. And I went through my bank statements in 2017. I added up all the money, 1.75 million. So the law is precise. When Bob Proctor would talk about, about John Kennedy, the president at the time in 1950, John Kennedy told Werner von Braun, a German scientist, what it would take to send a man to the moon. What it would take to send people to the moon. And he said, Werner von Braun says, the laws are precise, that you can send a man to the moon, you can time the landing by a precision of a fraction of a second. The law is precise. So you don't have to know how it's going to happen. You need to know what you want, why you want it, when you want it by. You have to have an idea of how you're going to get it, but you don't need to know how. Now, when I started the loan modification clinic and I made the 1.75 million in the business, there was a guy from the radio that came to our office. This is how our clientele went from 5 to 50 a month. The guy from the radio is like, look, I know you don't have that much money. I want to put you on the radio. A month later, I had 15 people at the office. Our Saturdays were booked. We had appointments every hour on the hour. I had to hire someone.
Yeah, that was with AC Green.
Was
that AC Green?
No, that was not AC Green. That was Vicente Serrano.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vicente Serrano.
I remember him.
And Vicente came to our office on California, and he said, "Hey, look, I want to put you on our radio show. We start Monday." And I said, "I don't have any money. I don't have that much money." And he said, "That's fine, because I'm going to put you on, and you're going to pay me in payments." I said, "All right, fine, that'll work." Now, when you write it down, your goal, and you put a date, and you have an idea of how it's going to happen, you're already putting the law of gravity into motion. It's like the sun, the earth, Mars. Everything is rotating in harmony. Everything is perfect. If the sun moves, if the earth moves, it's over. We all die, right? But we're here. How are we here? Gravity, right? So Isaac Newton discovered gravity, and that same gravity is going to be in motion for your goal. The same gravity. I was broke after the modification clinic. I wanted to make more money. I was like, well, my goal was to make 20 million, and I have it in my wallet. I have it. I was like, I want to make 20 million. I want to make 20 million, and I never did it. We lost the company. Our phone line is still on, but we outsourced our clientele, right? Mm-hmm. There is no recession. Donald Trump was in office. The economy never crashed. But I basically was like, I can't give up on the amount of money that I want to make. So right. If the business dies, then that's fine. I'm going to find something else. We started the club in 2017, 2018. And we built our crypto life school, our channel. We built it to we had one video that had like 50,000 views, one video, and we have about 1,500 subscribers. It's not a lot of subscribers because a lot of people don't know what cryptocurrency is. A lot of people don't know what.
You hear about it, but people are not really. They still don't understand it because it's so technical. It's there's so much information on each. I mean, there's thousands of cryptos now, thousands of coins. How can you keep up to date with all of those?
So my account went from 120 million.
That was my question, by the way.
It went from at the all-time high. My account went from 120 million. Hex was 57 cents, and then it dropped to 4 cents. The last time I sold Hex was at 14 cents, and I bought property in Spain. I sold like about 850,000 euros worth of Hex. So right now is a good time to buy because it's down by 90%. Bitcoin was at like 60 something thousand.
I wish we had a little screen in the background, but on our next show we have a little graph for you.
It dropped to 22,000, and they're saying it could drop to 10,000, maybe 15,000. But regardless, the point is that I'm in a way better situation now than I was in 2018. Because like I said, we started the school, and we're just trying to figure out like, okay, well, logically, you're never going to get rid of your logical thinking. So that's why I always go back to personal growth and development, because you always want to try to figure out how. And there's an interesting story for you guys that really study this hardcore, like I did, or like I do. There's a story, and I know you don't know this. There's a story from Napoleon Hill and Andrew Carnegie that it's called How to Raise Your Own Salary. It's a book. It's called How to Raise Your Own Salary by Napoleon Hill. And in that book, I'll go get the book for you guys right now. But in that book, you can find the conversations that Napoleon Hill had with Andrew Carnegie, because he wanted to know how Andrew Carnegie got rich. Andrew Carnegie was the richest person in the early 1900s. And Andrew Carnegie told him that not even the wisest of men understand how this works. You cannot explain how the sun hits the dirt and creates fruit, creates life, right? Mm-hmm. You don't eat the dirt. You eat what the dirt makes, right? You eat the fruit. You don't eat the dirt, because the dirt is like neither positive nor negative. It just is, right? It's like the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, you would say, is like the dirt, right? What you plant in the dirt is what you're thinking about, if that makes any sense. Think about that, guys. Let me get the book.
Where do you have it? Ross Garcia, multi-millionaire, and actually, we're in this home right now that he just finished remodeling, and it's a beautiful home. And this is what this mindset wealth group that he's been in creates for you.
Napoleon Hill, How to Raise Your Own Salary, right here. This is the diamond. These are the diamonds. I got diamonds. I got bars of gold right here. You want to talk about Leonardo da Vinci? This is it right here. Booyah. Why? Why do I say that? Because if you go back to the back part of the book, these are conversations that Napoleon Hill was a broke newspaper reporter, and his company told him to go interview the richest person in the world. And he said, he was broke. He went on a train. He barely had enough money to get back home. Went to go talk to the richest person in the world in the early 1900s. Wow. The richest person in the world said, look, I'm going to give you a challenge. I want you to write about the laws of success to help the modern man. And would you be interested? Andrew Carnegie had a stopwatch. He was actually timing to see how long it would take for Napoleon Hill to say, he told Andrew Carnegie, yes, Mr. Carnegie, sir, you could depend on me that I will achieve it. Stops the watch. It took about 28 seconds for Napoleon Hill said, yes, Mr. Carnegie, sir, you could depend on me that I will achieve it. Napoleon Hill didn't know nothing about success. He didn't know what the word philosophy meant. He didn't understand anything. But he said, yes, you could depend on me. Now, it took Napoleon Hill 20 years to be internationally known, like nationally, internationally known through his books, right? Question is, how long is it going to take for you to get what you want? Because when you write it down, That's why when people call me and say, hey, I want to be a millionaire, I want to start a company, I want to travel the world. Okay, where's your pen? Do you have your gold card? A gold card is something that you carry around with you to change your paradigm, to change your program. And people don't know that. So the people that call me and tell me, oh, I saw you on a live video 2 years ago. I'm working on my goal. Do you have your gold card? That's why I ask you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about how you're gonna. Don't worry about how. You have a skill, right? You know what you want. You have an idea, but you don't understand the amount. You might want the amount, but you're too scared to write down a couple more zeros, right? You're too scared. And my mentor, Bob Proctor, would say, do what scares you. Do what scares you. Live your life as it's the last day and jump out of the fucking plane. Live your life as it's the last day. Jump out. Because when you go against the paradigm, your program, your subconscious mind, it tells you, no, you can't. You know how many times I heard that in my mind? You can't. And right now I'm working on another book called I Can't Doesn't Exist.
That's good.
I Can't Doesn't Exist. It doesn't exist. So just,
wow.
That's my message, guys. And you know, Jerree, I met Jerree in college, and it wasn't an easy ride, and he knows it.
Nope.
I know what he's been through. He knows what I've been through, and it wasn't an easy ride.
No. You put in a lot. You got to put in a lot of work. A lot of work.
But these are the books: How to Raise Your Own Salary, Think and Grow Rich, and remember, there's that law of gender. The law of gender states that there's an incubation and gestation period. When you know what you want, when you write it down, when you sign it, when you carry your gold card with you, always read it. Eventually, the subconscious mind is going to let you in. It's going to say, fine, I'm going to produce the results in your life. Because you have a conscience, you have a subconscious. This was my mentor, Bob Proctor, would say. There's a connection that's not being made. You're not making the connection. The subconscious mind doesn't want to give you what you want. It's fighting against you. It's saying, no, I'm not going to give it to you. You're not going to be successful. You're an idiot. You never went to school, Jerree.
Mm-hmm.
Do this, do that. You moron, right?
Yeah, and that's all the negative people are feeding you into.
And you got to break it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I've never taken no for an answer. I've always, no, hell no. You can't do nothing with this. You can't do nothing with that. You're not going to be this. You know, since you're little, it's all programmed into your mind. That's the only thing. You got to fuck all that shit, you know, because you can. You can do anything you want with your life. Anything. He's proof. You've made a lot of accomplishments. A lot.
The most I've ever made, like I said, the most I've ever made was $300 cash a week. All right? But that's not the most. That was at my lowest point. The most I've ever made was when I was still in high school. I was working selling phones when there was no color on the phone. It was a flip phone. If you ever seen the movie The Matrix, when he had a Nokia 5160. I wasn't the Nokia 5160. It was the flip phone where you'd hit the button and the phone would open.
Big fat one.
And you would make the call, right? It had the antenna, right? So what I'm saying is that we are growing, that things are changing fast. And you got to take advantage of the time that we're living in, because Earl Nightingale, he even said it. Like Earl Nightingale, he mentored Bob Proctor, and Bob Proctor mentored me and a lot of other people. But I was fortunate enough to work with Bob Proctor and for his company as a consultant. And like I said, I take notes. Like I have all the notes that when Bob Proctor was on stage and he's next to me and I'm taking notes. I'm putting my audio recorder, right? And I'm listening to him recording the conversation. But the beautiful part about YouTube is that it's all online. That's how I met Napoleon Hill. I didn't meet him by buying this book, Think and Grow Rich. I met Napoleon Hill through YouTube because I was living at my mom's house, broke, went through a DUI, driving drunk, in jail, in boot camp, got out, I started listening to Napoleon Hill. And he said, may you be seated, please. He's like, the biggest failure of mankind is failure to take possession of their mind. If you took possession of your mind, you can have anything you want. You can have it in abundance. And I'm like, well, abundance? Like, shit. There was times where I was hungry, right? I didn't have money to go eat or go have a steak, right? I didn't have money to go eat steak with filet mignon and all that. I didn't have money to have caviar and have champagne, Moet, the best bottle, right? Stay at the best hotels. I didn't have money for first class. But I had money, but it was what I thought was like a lot of money was when I worked at Circuit City. I was selling phones. I was making, let's say, $65,000 a year, making more than my manager. But then Circuit City closed. I was laid off. And that was the last time that I had like a good job. I went from that to doing mortgages for like 6 years, from 2002 to 2008. Well. Okay. Everybody was buying homes. And then the market crashed. So what happened? I started modifying people's homes. But that was like another story where you have to learn the business. It's like selling real estate. I got my cousin here listening in, Berto, and he's a real estate agent. But, you know, now that he's in the business, he's going to know, yeah, there's ups and downs in the market, right? Logically. But what I'm talking to you guys is beyond logic. I'm talking to you guys of what is not normal. Normal is, let me try to figure out this mathematical problem, right? And fantasy, what is not normal is making the problem backwards, right? Because in the quantum world, nothing is normal. Everything is fucked up, right? You got good and bad convoluted. You got drywall and paint and freaking nails and all kinds of stuff. It's all mixed in, right? But even though, like Bob would say, the first law is order, God's law is order, and everything is in its proper order, right? But then the contrary to that is the chaos is like, well, nothing's in order, right? So your job is, okay, well, I know that there's chaos here. I know that does not make any sense, but I'm going to make sense out of it, right? I'm going to make sense out of what doesn't exist, out of a fantasy, out of whatever you want. Because I truly, truly believe, because I know that $1 billion has 3 commas, right? The reason that I know $1 billion has 3 commas is because that's my next goal. If the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a penny and a million or a million and a billion, it's your perception that needs to change about money.
Wow. That's interesting. Very interesting.
So when you change your perception about money and about how you see life, or when you're looking at a nice property and you say, well, how much is it? Well, it's $700,000. Why? I can't afford it. But doesn't exist. So why would you say that, right? Mm-hmm. So everything you say is who you are. And if it's not who you are, it's who you eventually will be. So you have to say...
Listen to that.
So
what you will be. Keep that in mind.
So you have to say the lie. Keep saying the lie, because that's what it is, because it's not here yet, right? Mm-hmm. But the lie to someone else, like, man, why are you faking it? Why are you so fake? You ever heard someone say that to you? Why are you so fake? Why are you fake? Well, guess what? This is going to help me get to the next level, right? Right. Because it's not here yet. I'm in the Ferrari. I have a Ferrari. Like, I got the keys of the Ferrari, right? How does it feel? It feels great, but not too great, because I had it in my mind for 3 years before I bought the Ferrari, because I was too scared to go to the Ferrari dealer and say, oh, give me a Ferrari. Well, you don't have the money. Well, when I went in the Ferrari dealer, you bet your ass that I had the money to buy the Ferrari. But I did it because I already knew how this stuff works. I knew that if I had it in my mind here in Chicago, that eventually I was going to have it in my driveway. But I have it in my driveway, but it's not in Chicago. It's in my house in Spain, which is totally upside down to what is normal, to what is, yeah, this is what reality is, right? We're not dealing with reality. You know, there's people that say we live in a simulation. I don't know if we live in a simulation or not, but I don't even know what reality is. Like, I don't wake up at 9 o'clock and go to work and put gas in my car, right? I wake up at 9:30. I'll get some coffee and I go pick up some shirts that have our logos on it, right? And in 2 or 3 days, I might fly to Texas again to go take care of some stuff, and then I might fly again. So nothing is normal about this, right? But you got time, you got money, you got freedom, because that's what people want. So I was like, no one's gonna believe me unless I get rich, and that's the same thing Napoleon Hill said. He's like, it took me a long time to get rid of that poverty mentality because his mom died at an early age, and like I said, there was times where he was hungry, and he's like, well, you know, I've never been rich, but when he met the richest person, and you find the conversation here, when he met the richest person in the world, and the richest person told him how the laws work, right? Uh, it's precise. It's precise. And he just said, well, you know, time, I guess what I would say is time is either against you or it's working for you, because there's a polarity. It's either good or bad. It's either it's going to help you or it's not. It's your thinking that makes it good or bad, right? So do you really believe that you're going to get rich? Do you really believe that you're going to be successful? And then can you stay on that positive mindset for the whole time? When I lived in United Kingdom, I had the 50 million in my mind. I would think about it all the time. If you go to Wealth Mindset Group on YouTube, you can find the videos where I was broke in UK. Mm-hmm. I didn't have the 50 million in the physical world. I had it in the dream world. I would tell people about Hex cryptocurrency at that time when it was maybe fractions of pennies, 001 or something like that. My account already had jumped up, but I had it all staked. I didn't have it physical. My money was staked out into the future. So I was in United Kingdom for 5 months. Then I went to Spain, and then all of a sudden I became a millionaire. And then 1 million became 3, and 3 became 10, and 10 became 30, and 30 became 90, and 90 became 120. And then I could say it hit about 125 million, and then it crashed. But whatever happens, it goes back. My mentor would say, every time you make a certain amount of money, you go back to making that same amount, because it's your thinking, it's your results, it's your frequency, your energy, the power that you have, that you've already broke those chains of
because you know you can make it.
Because you know you can make it, yeah. And you've done it before. You've already done this.
And that keeps your motivation and your thoughts going. That's what I like about your story, that you started here and now you're up here, and it's a crazy shit. And this story alone is look, I don't know what the fuck to say, but
I'm here in Chicago, and this is actually my parents' house. I have another house a couple blocks away, but it's rented out. This one is not rented out, but it's all fixed up.
Just finished.
We knocked down walls. We got new electrical, insulation, drywall. And I told Jerree, look, we need a couch. We're gonna do a Facebook Live. Instagram Live.
It was empty. We just got the couch today.
It was all empty.
We're doing all that show that we're doing. We're doing standing up. So we're doing something comfortably here in this beautiful home.
And I told him, look, I found the company that's gonna deliver the couch tomorrow, because I'm gonna leave like Saturday, Sunday, right? So I'm like, well, either we go buy a couch, and it's gonna take a week to get the couch, or I call this number and we get the couch tomorrow. Called the number, got the couch. The couch is here.
Just came in today.
Couch is here.
Nice
we got
colors.
The couch. And like I said, that's what life is. Life is about helping your friends, giving them information, adding value to someone else's life, right? Because you have some people, not not everyone, that are friends, but they don't add any value. They're your friends, and they just are living their life. And I've had people, because now that you're with the school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've been with the school, but there was a time when we started the school where we weren't making any money, and Jerree had to leave, and Jerree left, right? And then I left. He stayed in Chicago, but I left to California, right?
Right.
And we had something good going, but we didn't stick to it because we were looking at the outside world, and we're like, no, we're not going to survive doing YouTube.
Right.
You're not going to make money.
It took a long time to get where we're at, but we made it. We made it.
So,
I mean, I haven't done it a lot of videos lately, but because my situation with my loss and my grief, and it just stopped me. I wasn't able to breathe. I was just always depressed, thinking about my mom, my brother. All this sadness was just bringing me down. So he called me up. There's another show, because we were doing a lot of shows together. He's been always there motivating me. And I appreciate that, and appreciate everything you're doing for me. And just being out here today with you, just kind of expressing yourself, is what I'm all about. Because I have a magazine. Expression Magazine in Chicago, which expresses is about expressing your talent.
Yeah.
Your dream that you have actually accomplished.
And they said, when you go to a bookstore, the books that sell the most are on personal growth and development. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't like that before. Personal growth and development. There's people.
I can't see it.
There's people that are doing. There's people that are doing videos to try to get you to buy their Tony Robbins. Right. They're trying to get you to buy their seminar, their products for personal growth and development. Right.
I see tons of them on Facebook.
But
tons of them.
I've been.
They want to make money off of you.
Luck doesn't exist, but I was fortunate enough to work with someone that's been in personal growth and development for over 50 years. But that's not what this is about. This is about understanding and connecting to higher dimensions, to a higher to basically to a place that exists that you can't see, just like the airplanes when they told people back in the day there's going to be airplanes. This is about connecting to a certain frequency, a certain dimension, and doing a whole 360. Personal growth and development is one thing, right? But what it's really about is going into that dimension, because that is like what you're really buying the book for. What you're really buying these books for is to better your life, right?
To improve yourself.
But what you're doing is you're going into a higher octane energy. You're going into a world that you doubted. Maybe you believed in it, just like when we had our channel and Jerree took off. I went to California. Like, we believed, but then we gave up. But what he didn't know was that I stuck to this because I knew that there was something, and it motivated me. I was inspired. I was, still working with Bob Proctor. But part of my logic was like, well, there's a transfer of wealth. There's something happening and that I don't know.
This is the time that it is happening for you right now. He's got the information. Actually, give me your other channel. On my.
Oh yeah. You can go to Crypto Life School on YouTube. Crypto Life School, and you could document my life. You could actually go back at my life on Wealth Mindset Group on YouTube. And you can see my journey where I was not broke 100%, but I sure as hell wasn't a multimillionaire, right? I didn't have properties in Europe.
You're a typical Joe. I work in 95.
So I live in Portugal. I'm in Spain. I live in Portugal. I have a house on the beach in Portugal. And I was in UK. I didn't have that when I was in UK. I had friends in UK, but they thought that, hey, this guy might not be doing too good. right? Uh, and let's help them out or whatever, right? But it wasn't, hey, let me go inside a Ferrari dealer and buy a Ferrari. Hey, you know what? Should I get a Lamborghini? Yeah, but you're gonna sell your Ferrari. I don't need to sell my Ferrari. I just buy a Lamborghini too. You know what I'm saying? Rich people problems, right? House in Texas. You know, go here, go there. My sister, you were there. Did you go to California?
Yeah, we took the ride over
I
to help
remember.
her buy the house and move into her new house that she got up there. Where is it at? What part of
It's
California is it?
it's near San Diego.
Is it Casa something?
yeah,
Or-
she bought a really nice house with a
Beautiful.
pool.
Up in the hills. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful home. Beautiful.
And you know, she's been like indirectly, she's been, or I guess you could say directly, she's my student. And when I started the loan modification clinic, she worked for me. But before she worked for me, she was telling me, don't open your company. You need to stay where you're at with these lawyers. And they were making a lot of money, but they were paying me $11 an hour, right? And they're like, she's like, you need to stay in, you need to stay here. You need to stay at the law office with the lawyers because you have a job. And after the DUI, driving drunk, you're not going to get another job. I said, look, I'm reading it. Like, I didn't tell her I'm reading this book, but I told her there's this. After I opened the company, she called me. She went to work for a bank. So they fired her from the bank. They laid her off from the bank. She said, hey, look, I need a job. Can I come work with you? I said, yeah. And then she's like, why do you always carry this book around? Everywhere you go, you carry this book. The first chapter is desire. Everywhere you go, you carry this book. I said, there's a secret in this book. And if you do exactly what Napoleon Hill is suggesting and you follow the steps, you can have anything you want. So I said, what do you want? Because I got tired of her trying to figure it out. And I had a pen. So I said, here's a pen. Why do you think in The Wolf of Wall Street, he has a pen? He's like, sell me this pen.
Right.
You remember that? Sell me this pen, right? So had the pen. I said, write down what you want. Tell me what you want. She said, I want to make $100,000 a year. I said, you're not going to make $100,000 a year. You're going to make $100,000 a month. Write that down. When she heard that, it went into her subconscious mind and she got excited. She's like, oh shit. Oh my God. Yeah, I want to make $100,000 a month. You know, that is someone's dream, is to make what they make in a year in a month. And Bob Proctor would had seminars it was called how to take your annual salary and make it into your monthly salary. Mm-hmm. So I was like, write down, you're going to make $100,000 a month. She got excited. She got pumped up because the most she's ever made was probably working for banks. The most she's ever made is maybe $75,000 a year or $100,000 a year. So did it happen, guys? That's what you guys want to know. Did it happen? Yes, it happened.
It did.
And she can be here next. As a matter of fact, she's coming to Chicago in 2 or 3 days. So we could literally have her here.
I want to share her story because actually, when we helped her out, when we helped her move, I mean, she drove this freaking 24-foot fucking U-Haul, packed all her stuff, and moved to her new home in California. And it was a nice experience, a nice journey for his sister and for me to get that experience and helping her because she's like a sister to me, you know, and we go way back, you know, and being able to, first of all, make $100,000 a month, she overdid that goal. And I just can't wait for you to hear her story. That's what we're going to have on our next show when she's here in town. So, Wealth Mindset Group, it's a new beginning. It's a lot of information to give to you on that show, and you got to go check out the school. You know, go online and check it out. I myself have goals. I have dreams, aspirations. You know, a lot of goals that I want to do, and it involves people who have illnesses, entrepreneurs like him. And also wealthy people who we're going to plan on having interviews with, and share those stories because it's important that someone gets motivated, gets encouraged by the success of all these individuals, and it's fascinating, and it's exciting for me to start doing this stuff again because I know the lockdown in 2019 locked a lot of us down, and it's been affecting us, and we're still here.
Yeah.
We're still here.
And I remember I know these laws, right? But it actually started affecting me. What I was seeing on TV, I had to shut it off. They would say, clean your doors, clean the knobs on your doors, clean, anything in your house. And I remember being in the cold because I was in California and I went to Switzerland. Um, and I have a friend out there and she's like, look, you should go to Milan. And I went to Milan, checked it out. And then I flew to Hollywood, to California, where I live. And when I was sick for 2-3 months. I didn't know if I had the corona because the coronavirus, the testing, it still wasn't there. And my mom called me. She's like, you're coming to Chicago? I said, yes. She's like, well, don't come to my house.
Stay your ass over there.
Stay away from me. Don't hug me. Don't shake my hand. And if you come, wear a mask, right? I still have a freaking mask in my damn bag. Anyway, I seen her but from far away, right? And she's like, look, I know you're sick. Go to the hospital. Went to the hospital, and they like, do you feel like you have the coronavirus? I said, look, because they were showing on television people dying in Italy, and I was in Milan, and when you're in Milan, you're walking next to people all the time.
Right? I was fucking worried about your ass.
So
like, what the fuck are you doing over there?
I went in the hospital in Berwyn here in Chicago. And the lady's like, you were in Italy? I'm like, yeah, I was in Italy. She's like, she didn't have a mask. She didn't have me wear a mask because not everyone was wearing masks. They didn't give me any shot. They sent me home with, I didn't even get a prescription. They gave me, they told me buy vitamin C, go to the store and buy nasal spray to clear up your nose, drink a lot of water, tea, drink a lot of lemon, have some lemon water, some lime water. And I did that, right? Got better. And everyone said on TV, don't travel. Don't go anywhere. Stay home.
I didn't stay home. I was out doing what I was doing, photography, doing my installs, my installations. I was out shaking people's hands, exchanging money. I was fucking out there. I didn't get sick. Thank God I didn't get sick. I'm like, my neighbor got COVID. I mean, he got sick, ended up in the hospital. I'm like, talking with them, shaking their hands, and just saying what's up and all that. I didn't get sick.
But these last 2 years have been the best years of my life. And why? Because I lived in UK. I lived in Spain. I traveled through Paris. I went to Paris. I went to Rome. I went to Milan. I went to Switzerland. You have to get out of your shell. They don't want you to travel. This is the television. This is the 97% of people. You want to be a part of the 1% of the 1%? I'm not the 1%. I'm the 1% of the 1%, which is a fraction of 7 billion people. You want to be a part of the 1% of the 1%? You want to have people working for you in different countries? Okay, do this. Grab a pen, because I could tell you don't watch television, but you probably already know that. Grab a pen, figure out how much you want to make to live the life that you want to live. What you're going to be doing. Have an idea of how it's going to happen. It doesn't have to be precise. Put a date on it, sign it, and read it all the time. Think about it when you go to sleep, because when you go to sleep, your subconscious mind is taking over. It's not going from autopilot anymore. It's going to pilot. So you need to plant that seed before you go to sleep. Think of yourself. I would think of the Ferrari. Oh, Ferrari. Bam, Ferrari.
Or think about your dream home.
Think about your dream home. Think about your business. Maybe you have a business that you want to get going. But we're here for to provide value. We're not here wasting our time, guys. You might see me. I haven't shaved. You know, I got my Adidas thing. We're super busy. If I didn't message you, if I didn't call you, it's because we're busy. It's not that I'm hiding or I'm playing these games. I'm not playing any
Now,
games.
I haven't
We're
done,
busy.
you know, I mean, this is my other Facebook page because I was knocked out of my original one with Facebook. I have no idea why they knocked me out. I had over 5,000 people, almost 5,000 people on my, and now I'm starting from scratch, having a couple hundred. You know, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm still here. I'm still doing what I love doing and sharing my message with you here on Facebook. You know, Jerree Cardenas here and Ross Garcia. We're entrepreneurs, and um, hopefully I have a bigger successful story than him because I have humongous goals and a lot of dreams, and gonna be part of it. You know, follow me. You know, hit like on that button. Ross Garcia, Jerree Cardenas, aka Jerry De Luna, and we hope to see you in our next video with some more entrepreneurs and successful people. Peace.
Peace out, guys. We're logging out of all these Facebook lives we got here. Peace out.
Right there. Peace out, people.